So I pissed my pants on my 16th birthday. What? I pissed my pants on my 16th birthday.
We're just gonna start with that.
Yes.
No build up.
It has to come out. Just like the piss did that night.
I remember this.
So it was a couple people's birthdays around October.
Yes.
And we decided to go with a couple of friends to a haunted corn maze.
Yeah, I think it was mostly a lot of people in my grade.
And it was mostly people we were in cross-country with. Because I think we had a race that day.
Yes. There were a few people not in cross-country, but majority of the people were in cross-country. Yeah.
So we decided to go to this haunted corn maze out north of where we lived, and basically in a farm. It was in a farmland.
Yeah.
And for context, I had never really been through a haunted house, haunted corn maze, anything like that.
Yes.
And this particular one, like many haunted corn mazes, they essentially just round up all their neighbors, have them take their chains off their chainsaws, and chase people through a corn maze.
Yeah, they wear little masks, big burly men with chainsaws running after you. Clowns.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, real nightmare fuel.
Yeah. And so, I had turned 16, feeling real adult. And then we reached a point in the corn maze where there was a split.
Yes.
You could run one of two ways. A man popped out of the bushes, or the corn, with a chainsaw. And somehow me and one fellow listener ended up by ourselves down one path. And the entire rest of the group ended up down a different path.
Mm-hmm.
And me and said listener were essentially cornered by 3 men with chainsaws. 3 or 4 men with chainsaws. We essentially fell into the corn, and I pissed my pants out of fear. Didn't tell anyone at the time.
Yeah.
We got out of that situation. We ended up catching up back with the group. We made it out of the corn maze. I had to tell people I pissed my pants.
Yeah.
Because I had to get in a car.
I think I drove.
Yeah.
Yeah, a group of people.
So there I was on my 16th birthday feeling, real dull about an hour before. And I had to spend the entire car ride sitting on a sweatshirt to make sure the pee did not get on the seat.
All right, Hannah. I don't know if I've told you this story, but if you want to feel better. About maybe 2 years ago, I was driving, I think maybe back home from where I live. It's about like a 2.5 hour drive. And I drink a lot of water. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, I have to pee. Like maybe when I get closer to home, I'll go to a rest stop or get off at a gas station. What happened is I got stuck in standstill traffic from an accident. And it was like dead stop. And I was losing my mind. So I did what a reasonable person would do. There was no way I could get out of my car and pee because I'm in the left lane, so it's not like I can just get out and piss like a man. I saw a man doing that like 2 weeks ago, just literally pulled his car off on the highway and took a pee in the grass, and I'm like, well, that would be great if I could do that, but it's not possible. I don't have a shiwi, It's a peeing thing. I don't know if you've seen that for camping. It's like a little funnel you pee into. I can't just squat. I can't just take a squat in the grass, drop my pants and take a squat and pee. So I found a sock in a plastic bag, and I just peed into a sock. Just a little bit. Just enough. When you have to pee so bad it starts to like physically pain you?
Yeah.
I was at that level, so I did a little bit. Like just to relieve myself enough that I didn't feel like I was dying. And I was so ashamed. And I threw the sock away after, But if it makes you feel better, I had to do that one time.
Mm.
And it was a sad, sad time in my life.
That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, to me, the scariest thing about those corn mazes is that, like, a murderer could just come with a chainsaw with their chain on and just murder you.
They could. I've never heard of it happening, though. I mean, there was that time when just clowns were roaming around Detroit, in the metro Detroit area. That was just a thing that happened. Clowns were just everywhere. Murder clowns.
Never trusted a clown.
Nope. It's like 30HO said, except instead of don't trust a hoe, it's don't trust a clown.
Don't trust him.
Don't trust a clown.
Don't trust a clown. And if you're a vegetarian, I say...
I ain't fucking scared of him.
Yeah.
What a banger for middle school, you know?
Hose, clowns, piss. That's pure Michigan.
Oh, God. Welcome. Oh my God. Okay. This is Research Rank Repeat. I am one of your co-hosts, Alyssa.
And this is co-host Hannah, just as professional as always.
Of course. Of course. And we have what I would call a very impromptu episode today. So we had planned to record maybe something else, but we didn't have the time to get everything prepared, and we realized we haven't done a food or drink ranking in months, since May, the last time we did the Uncrustables. And we certainly haven't drinking alcohol on this podcast in a long time, so we've got a fun little treat for you. A little sweet treat. Or unsweet treat.
We're getting into fall. We're getting into the best time of the year.
Certainly the best time of year in Michigan.
No question. And we're getting into hard cider season.
We are.
Which is best time of the year.
Best time of the year. If you have never been to a cider mill, please go to one. If you've never been in an area where there's cider mills, it is one of the best things in fall. You've got cider, donuts, just fall foliage, good weather. Ugh, amazing.
Amazing.
So yeah, we are going to be sampling a selection of hard ciders, and I just want to say a selection because there are tons of hard ciders, and especially being in Michigan, there are a lot of local Michigan companies that produce hard cider. So we have 9 ciders to try today. We have 2 from the same company. Mm-hmm. For 2 companies we have 2 different variations for, but we have 9 ciders, and some of them are going to be ones that you may have never heard of before or you're not aware of. We tried to pick ciders that we had never had. Certainly some of the companies we've had ciders from before, and our control we have certainly had before. But if there's a cider you really like and it was not included, we're sorry. We just wanted to try to differentiate ourselves.
Yes.
Anything to add?
I have nothing to add.
Okay, so I have found a little background about hard cider, or as it's called in Europe, cider. So cider is defined as an alcoholic beverage made with fermented apple juice. I have found a great wealth of knowledge from Wikipedia on this subject. So it's super popular in the United Kingdom and Ireland, and the United Kingdom has the world's highest per capita consumption of cider. And so what I learned while I was researching is the U.S. specifically calls it hard cider because in the U.S. we have a lot of just non-alcoholic sweet cider, which is what normally you would get at a cider mill, apple cider. And so because we already had this, they call it hard cider to differentiate that it's alcoholic. So just want to mention one of the ciders I've had from Europe is Magner's, and they make a pear cider that's very delicious, very good. I don't know if there's anywhere you can locally find it, but excellent European cider if you would like to sample a selection of that. We have all American with one exception. We have one European hard cider that we're trying today. And so ciders are classified from a range of dry to sweet based on the apple of choice. There is no known date of when ciders were starting to be produced because apples have been around since forever, but they believe that the original ciders were made from crab apples, so they were super bitter and gross.
Gotta love crab apples.
Gotta love them. Another thing that was done in olden times, a Western British tradition called wassailing, which is where you go to an orchard
recite incantations and sing to the trees to promote the harvest. Now, I have a sampling of a song that was sung.
We sang that song.
A song. This is on Wikipedia, and it's an old song, so I'll play a few seconds of it, and it's probably, what's the name, like, what Happy Birthday, where it's old, so old, it's just become, it's, like, it can't be copyrighted because it's so old.
Oh, yes.
There's, like, a term for that, and I can't remember what it is.
Sure.
Anyway, so I've actually heard this song before. I was surprised, but...
Here we come, a-wassailing among the leaves so green. Oh, here we come, a-wandering so fair to be seen.
Yeah, I've heard that song before.
That sounds really familiar.
Yes.
Was it like in a video in school?
I have no idea, but I've heard it.
I wonder if it was in our history of Michigan class.
I was really confused because I was like sitting there and I'm like, why have I heard this? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that was an old tradition done in orchards to promote cider harvest. In the U.S., ciders were pretty common. They brought cider over on the Mayflower in the 1600s. They produced it in the East Coast. But during Prohibition, the hard cider market collapsed. People, like, tore down trees, set them on fire, the extremists, and it never recovered until recently. So, in the past, maybe less than 10 years or so, the hard cider market has picked up dramatically. It currently outsells craft beer. It accounts for 1% of the alcohol market, but it's believed that profits will continue to just grow and grow and grow because a lot of people like hard ciders because people who have like celiacs and can't consume gluten can have ciders because they don't have any wheat or, hops in them. Just to mention one of the brands, there's a cider called Woodchuck Cider, which we have both had before. We are not sampling that today. It was bought by a company called Bulmers in Ireland in 2012. So Europe has had a control share into the market. So Michigan is a major grower of apples. I mean, we have so many cider mills and apple trees and apple orchards in Michigan. It's a good climate and soil for apples. And so Michigan just happens to have a lot of hard cider companies. A lot of local ones, a lot of just random ones, but also other companies use Great Lakes apples for their products. I just wanted to mention my own experience with hard cider. The first time I had a hard cider was my first tailgate in college that I attended of a friend's family, and I had a Red's hard cider. And I remember being like, what's hard cider? Again, I'm barely drinking alcohol, the little 18-year-old freshman, just learning about how things work. And I had a Red's, and I was like, wow, this is pretty good. But then, within a year, I was like, this is way too sweet for me.
Yeah,
and,
mine was Angry Orchards. Mm-hmm. And I think I got drunk off of one.
Probably.
Because I had no tolerance for alcohol.
Yes.
And I drank Angry Orchards for a couple of years.
Yeah, you really liked Angry Orchard.
But I agree. They got too sweet for me. And then I moved into different brands, some of which we are trying today.
Yes.
Which I'm excited about. But yeah, it would be interesting to see how I feel about Angry Orchard now.
Yes.
As that is the one we're using as like our base test.
Yes. The only specific cider that we've had of the 9 is Angry Orchard, and we just have
the crisp apple.
Just a regular. The basic hard cider.
Right.
That's all the background I have. Unless you have anything else you would like to say, we can get into drinking.
No, I don't have anything else to say except I'm excited. I have to drink alcohol.
Me too, and I'm excited because we have our whiteboards back.
Yes. The best $10 purchase I ever made.
Yes, we've gotten our use out of them.
We haven't used them in a while.
Since May.
It's gonna be May.
It's gonna be May.
Which color would you like?
I would love to have a fall color.
Oh, green?
Maybe
orange.
Orange or red. I love fall.
Fall's football just started.
I know. Tailgating. I miss tailgating season so much. What a time. And as we mentioned in our variety show, fall is my favorite season.
As is it. It's mine too.
Okay.
I meant to say as.
As is.
As is mine.
So I think what we'll do first is, should we run through all of our ciders?
Okay, so starting off, we have the Angry Orchard Crisp Apple, and then we have a Stella Artois European-style cider, and then what is it?
Ace.
Dry apple craft cider, and then a Sierra Rosé peach cider.
I think it's Sierra Rose.
Oh, it's not rosé.
No,
Okay.
there's no
Sierra
nothing.
Rose peach hard cider. Oh, you want me to keep going?
Oh, I can do the
Okay.
next couple. Okay, so then next we have Blake's Hard Cider Strawberry Lemonade. We have another Sierra Rose, but this time it's a blackberry hard cider. We have a Star Cut Ciders Mosa hard cider. Then we have another Blake's El Chavo. Then we have Vandermill Totally Roasted hard cider. And those are our 9.
This is very exciting.
It is.
Okay.
And we have learned from our past mistakes.
Yes.
We have prepared Dixie cups for ourselves. We can pour ourselves small amounts, and then we can have more if we would like to.
Yes. I mean, the issue with the White Claw was just the carbonation. The first episode we ever did with drinks was childhood drinks mixed with alcohol, and we quickly realized we were doing too big of shots.
Yeah, and we had hard liquor with that too.
It went downhill really quick, but we managed to recover.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we will be starting with the Angry Orchard Crisp Apple. Like we said, this is the one we've had, but we just kind of want a baseline to have the rest to compare it to.
Yeah, we just wanted to have a nice control, something we've had before, something that's pretty simple tasting in terms of hard ciders.
It's also really popular. I think Angry Orchard, I was reading, like as of 2019, it controls 50% of the cider sale market. So it's a very
Yes.
popular cider.
So this specific cider is 5% alcohol volume.
And I think Angry Orchard is out of New York, I wanna say.
believe so. Angry Orchard is, you'd be correct, Walden, New York.
Nice.
So when I was looking up stuff about the ciders, they mentioned that there's a couple different cider markets, one being East Coast, like New York area. There's also California. You've got Virginia, I guess, is a specific spot. New York, and I think I already said New York.
Yes.
Well, East Coast, New York specific, and then Michigan. Well, that was
we go.
disappointing.
That was very disappointing. I was hoping to get some good sounds, which did not happen. Looks like pee.
It does kind of look like pee.
Cheers.
Cheers. You know, I don't remember Angry Orchard tasting like this.
Mm-mm.
It almost tastes like beer.
I wonder, it's been so long since we've had it. I thought it was a lot sweeter.
I did too.
Unless they changed it.
No, Dick, don't get me wrong, it still tastes sweet, but it has a very almost distinct beer flavor
It does.
that I've had hard ciders more recently, and you don't really get that in a lot of different ciders.
No, you don't.
Interesting.
It's interesting. That's why I was kind of curious to see what it was going to be like, because it's been so long since we've had it. They did have a strawberry Angry Orchard at the store, which it looked
They
new.
did. Yeah.
Because there was a green apple.
Oh, yes.
It was almost like a sour
Yeah.
one, which was actually pretty
That's
good.
right. And you also liked, wasn't there like a rosé potato one?
Yeah, it's weird. It had rosé, it had sweet potato beets or something like that. It was a really weird
Yeah.
mix.
Our second cider is Stella Artois European Style Cider. So this one has a 4.5 alcohol by volume content, and Stella is based in
France?
New York.
Oh.
Cider Company, New York. I thought it was European, but maybe they just wanted to sound European because it's Stella Artois.
So they're ripping off the Europeans.
Anyways, it's a European style cider, which is different from American style, based mainly on the apples used. I didn't really get too specific into the types of apples between the different countries, but I know ciders are classified based on the method that's used to ferment, the type of apple, and just the flavors and general composition of the cider itself.
It has less than 1 gram of protein.
Oh, wow.
So we will not Hulk out after this.
No, we won't Hulk out, sadly.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to foam you there.
I'm gonna wait for the foam to settle.
Me too.
Really,
I should have
didn't
poured it.
pour well.
I should have poured it like a bartender. Okay. Oh, yours is still going.
No, I told you,
Okay.
you really didn't pour well with mine.
Sorry. Got excited.
The foam was half the cup. Okay.
This
is-
still looks like pee.
Yeah. This one's not
Cheers
hydrated.
to freedom and
Piss.
piss. That one definitely tastes more cidery.
It's very smooth.
Yeah.
It's definitely still sweet, but it's very crisp. It's a very smooth, crisp flavor. I like it. It's good.
It definitely reminds me more of like sparkling, like juice
Yeah.
with like an alcoholic taste.
Right. It really doesn't taste alcoholic for the most part.
Dangerous. Would you like to read it again?
We can go back and
Okay.
forth, or if, yeah, doesn't matter.
Okay, so next we have P.iss, which is out of California. And this is the Joker Dry Apple Craft Cider. So since 1993.
Do you have an alcohol percentage?
Let me see. Oh, 6.9%.
Oh. So I have had P.iss hard ciders before.
The pineapple one's good.
I have a friend from California who recommended it to me or brought it over to my house one time. And then I gave it to you and was like, please try this. The pineapple one's really good. Also, I recently was at a bar that had pink guava hard cider. And that's one of the best hard ciders I've ever had. So P.iss makes really good hard ciders. You can find, they have a pear hard cider as well. You can easily find it at Meyer. I'm going to pour this one though.
Yes.
Excellent.
This is also a tall boy.
It's a tall boy. It's our only tall boy.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
More piss.
Still looks like piss. Piss Watch 2021 still looks like piss. That's interesting.
So normally I'm a pretty big fan of drier ciders and sweet ciders. I just, as a refined adult that I am, I can't do a ton of sweet stuff or I start to get a headache. But it's not bad, but it's not what I was expecting, considering I've had other P.iss ciders before.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a aftertaste.
It does have a little bit of an aftertaste. It tastes like ass.
And I don't know that I like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I'm with you, that pineapple one you gave me or told me about was really good.
The pink guava is even better.
Okay.
I got it at a
Like you'd have to go somewhere probably to get it.
at a place that has like rotating beers
Yeah.
and ciders. Okay, so our next cider is from Sierra Rose, and it is a peach hard cider. It is 6.5% alcohol content. It is made in Michigan. It's our first Michigan cider. It's from Cascade Winery in Cascade, Michigan, opened in 2003. Here are the cider options that they have. The flavors: raspberry, blackberry, peach, cranberry, blueberry, watermelon, cherry, and many more seasonal ciders. So, it's packaged in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I've had Sierra Rose cider before, but I don't remember which ones. I think
Okay.
raspberry.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had Sierra Rose. I didn't know it was a Michigan company until right now.
I've had it with Tara, I think. Because
Okay.
we've talked about the flavors before. I feel like we've looked up the flavors. But I don't remember when that was.
That was satisfying.
Yes. This looks less like piss.
Oh, I was going to say it looks like my urine when I haven't had a glass of water in hours.
I mean, it's either someone really dehydrated or it looks like some really, like, liquidy or really see-through orange juice.
I'm interested to see how peach translates to a cider.
Me too. I'm not sure what to make of the flavor.
I don't really like peach flavor.
Yeah.
It's confusing.
It is very confusing. Like, I looked at your face and your eyebrows kind of knitted together like you weren't sure what to make of it. And I kind of feel the same way.
I don't hate it.
I don't either, but it's almost like all I taste is peach.
Yeah, there's not really apple taste.
No.
I wonder if it's just like the combo of, I don't know if peach and apple necessarily mesh well together.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, so this is our first of Blake's Hard Cider.
Yes.
It's the strawberry lemonade. Blake's is a Michigan company. It's been around since 1946, and this cider has a 6.5 alcohol content.
It's based in Armada.
Yes. So a little background, because I want to be full disclosure here.
Yes.
Not only have we been to Blake's a lot, I was friends with the owner's daughter in high school.
We went to school with her and
Right.
knew her through sports, and she was in the same grade as you.
Right. So we're going to try not to be biased here.
Yeah, so we would just like to say that we certainly drink their ciders because we know the family.
And
Or at
because they're
least-
good.
And they're good. But we've never had strawberry lemonade before.
We have not. So this will be interested to see how I feel about this one.
Now, the cider of theirs that I really liked was they had a pineapple sage. It was called Rainbow Seeker.
Yeah.
And it donated money to LGBTQ
Rights.
organizations, which we love that.
Yes.
That is way too sweet for me.
See, I don't mind it.
It doesn't taste bad, but, like, I can't drink that.
I think I would drink that. I don't know that I would be able to drink multiple.
Yeah.
But I will say...
Flavor's good.
The flavor is good.
It's just, for me, I can't do a lot of sweet things.
I think that would be more of a summer drink for me.
Certainly.
Not really like a fall cider, but like I would definitely drink that if I was outside. It was a hot day. I would have like one of those. But I can see what you're saying about it. I wonder how much sugar is in it.
Yeah, I wonder what's the sugar content. Well, also I guess because it's lemonade as well.
Right. Well, lemonade, yeah. It's 14 grams of sugar, which isn't horrible.
Okay.
But lemonade tends to be a bit sweeter anyways.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have a second addition to the Sierra Rose with blackberry hard cider. This is a 6.5%, same as the peach, and it also is made in Michigan again.
Ooh, this one's like a red.
It's like a purple red. It's
Very pretty.
Wine.
Oh.
It's got a really good smell.
Most of these ciders haven't had a very strong smell, but that's pleasant.
This one smells like Traverse City fruit wine.
It does have a very wine smell, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It has a very wine taste,
It does.
doesn't it?
It tastes nice.
That's very
It's
nice.
a very, like, nice, smooth tone.
But to me, it tastes more like wine than it does cider.
I'm not opposed to it.
Mm-mm.
Huh. Interesting.
Not what I was expecting.
No, me either.
At all.
But I like it. I'm into it.
So next we have Star Cut Ciders, which I have had their Octo Rock.
Octorock is really good.
very
I've
good
had
cider.
that before.
This one is a Mosa hard cider, so it's a fermented with Michigan apples blended with orange juice.
So it's essentially a mimosa, but with instead of champagne, it's hard cider.
And it's 4.3%, which is one of the lower ones. I was not aware that Star Cut was also Michigan.
I did know it was Michigan.
Okay, so this is from Elk Rapids, Michigan.
Yes, I did know that because I had Octorock in college. It was probably maybe in like 2015 I had it for the first time. It's really good though.
Brewed and canned at Shorts Brewing.
Oh.
Which I didn't know Shorts was a part of it.
No, I didn't either. That's news to me.
Okay, well, this is the Mosa. Let's try this. See, that tastes very much like a mimosa.
I was gonna say this just tastes like a mimosa.
You don't really taste the cider at all.
I mean, I like mimosas,
No, I love mimosas.
but there really is not a cider taste. It's very much just
Just
mimosa.
a mimosa.
Yeah. But good flavor.
Oh, yeah, definitely good flavor.
Okay, so next we have the second of Blake's hard ciders, and this one is El Chavo, which is mango and habanero. It has a 6.5% alcohol content. Again, it's Armada. We know Blake's. We like Blake's. They make good hard cider. It's 13 grams of sugar.
I am concerned about this one as someone who can't really handle spice in any content.
So I'm pretty sure I have had this cider before.
Oh, really?
Not anytime recently. Like, it would have been years ago.
Okay.
So I like feel like it wasn't spicy, is what I remember.
Ooh. Wow.
That just infiltrated my nose.
This is definitely one of the more intriguing ones.
Yeah,
for me.
we kind of tried to keep it the basic ones first and then keep going weirder and weirder as we go along. So, cheers. It's definitely...
Ooh, it's got a kick.
It does have a kick.
I didn't think it was going to taste like that.
Watching you drink this is incredible. You didn't have to finish it. So for me, I wouldn't consider this spicy. It definitely has a tingling feeling in the back of my throat.
It like burns the back of your throat
Yeah,
a bit.
it's a little tingly. The flavor is really subtle though. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to mangoes to some extent.
Well,
We'll see.
I gotta do it for the podcast.
Yeah, do it for the podcast. But I mean, I'm not like deathly allergic or anything like that.
Okay, so this is Vandermill's Totally Roasted. It is a melody of cinnamon, pecan, and vanilla will dance on your palate.
Wow.
I love when flavors dance on my palate.
Me too.
This is an eye-opening example of what cider can be. So it's a 6.5% alcohol volume, like the No, this is actually a different one. So this one is out of Grand Rapids.
Yes, so I have had Vandermeer cider before, but not this type. I think they just do a general, just like a dry, semi-sweet cider. I saw this and was like, this is interesting.
Yeah.
I've never had a cider with this type of flavor before.
Definitely.
All right, so let's try it out. This has no scent.
It does not.
I smell nothing.
Which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Cheers to the last one.
Mm-hmm. So this one is super subtle. Mm-hmm. But there are some really slight notes of things. Like I can taste a tiny bit of vanilla.
I taste the pecan a bit.
And a little bit of the pecan. But the flavor is really nice.
It's interesting because
It's
it doesn't...
super subtle.
It doesn't hit you, but
No.
it's a nice medley.
Yes.
Of flavor.
As it said, it was a melody that will dance on your palate.
It's got my palate dancing.
Yeah, me too. All right, so we have taken a little break. We sampled some ciders again just to see if our ranking would change. With mine, it did a little bit. We got some snacks. Hannah realized that she's drunk. Clearly, Hannah realized that she's drunk.
I'm not drunk, I'm buzzed.
Are you sure about that?
I have no tolerance for alcohol.
She has a very low tolerance. I'm definitely feeling a little something, which is great. You know, this is what we expected. It's definitely not as chaotic as our childhood drink ranking.
Oh no, that got bad real quick.
And we aren't as pained as we are with our White Claw.
We're at a happy medium.
We're at a happy medium, you know? We're feeling good, but we're not in pain.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay. It's fine, we'll pull it together.
You'll pull it together. You'll pull it together. I'm
I'm
good.
professional, I always pull it together.
You just said at the beginning of the episode that you were as professional as always, which is not saying anything when I was like throwing you a curveball.
I'm always professional. Okay. I'll start.
Excellent.
So number 9, I went with the Angry Orchard Crisp Apple. I feel
Okay.
that, although I'd like it more than I did, I don't think it's as sugary as I thought. I also just feel like it's kind of just a basic, plain cider.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But compared to the others, I think it was probably my lowest one.
So number 9, I put the Blake's Strawberry Lemonade, and there's nothing wrong with the flavor. It's just too sweet for me. If I tried to drink a whole can of this, I would have a headache. The thing is, I know it's too sweet for me. I knew our tastes are different. Like, you prefer sweeter, I prefer drier, and it's a good flavor. It's just I can't drink it in a can, so it has to be number 9 for me.
That's fair. Number 8, similar to you, I did the Blake's El Chavo.
Okay.
Just because I can't handle spice, and it was the only one where I drank it, and I was like, oh, this, like, instantly just burned the back of my throat, which I hate that feeling. So I think the flavors are pleasant. Mm-hmm. But I think if I didn't have an issue with spice, I would like it more. But it's just the fact that I felt like it would just burn my intestines in half.
Yeah, you need those.
Yeah, kind of.
A little important. So number 8, I did the P.iss Dry Craft Cider. And it's interesting because every other P.iss hard cider I've had, I've really liked. Like, I thought they've been really good ciders, and this one was just kind of okay. There wasn't anything special about it. It certainly was drier and not super sweet, but just there wasn't a lot of flavor there. So I just had to rank it pretty low.
Number 7, I went with the Sierra Rose Peach. I was so confused with the flavors. And I even retried it after, and I still was as confused. And I don't know if I dislike it. I don't think I dislike it.
Yeah, so for number 7, I did the Angry Orchard Crisp Apple. And I agree. I think it's a pretty basic cider. It's not bad. The flavors aren't bad, but it doesn't add anything. It's just your run-of-the-mill cider. It kind of tastes more like beer, like a general... Like, if I was going to go to Rama and get a beer pitcher, this is what the flavor would be like. Just your basic bitch.
Okay, number 6, I went with the Ace Joker Dry Craft Cider. I agree, because that pineapple one is one of my favorite ciders I think I've ever had. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I think maybe just the fact that it's a dry cider, it's better than, like, Angry Orchards, because I think it has more of an apple taste. But I wouldn't pick this over any of their other flavors, I don't feel.
For number 6, I had the Sierra Rose Peach. And I agree, the flavors were kind of all over the place. The peach felt like it was a bit too overwhelming, like it was just straight peach. And I like peach as a flavor, but it just didn't pair as well as I wanted it to. It wasn't bad, just not as good as some of the other ones are.
Number 5, I went with the Starcut Ciders Mosa Hard Cider. I felt like I really like the flavor, but I don't feel like it tastes like cider. It just tasted like a mimosa, and there's nothing wrong with that, but since it is a hard cider ranking, I felt weird putting it any higher than 5.
Number 5, I had the Blake's El Chavo, and I disagree with you in the sense that I like spice. I'm not like a super spicy, but I like some amount of a little kick, here and there. And the flavors are really nice. It's definitely weird getting some tingling having a cider, but I actually really liked it. I think it's good. It's a solid cider. But I think maybe there's a little bit of bias because I know there are Blake ciders I like more than this one. So I think that's why it's kind of just mid-pack.
Yeah. Number 4, I went with the Stella Artois cider. I think in terms of just a plain cider drink, it's actually really refreshing. It's really smooth. And it might be my favorite just plain hard cider I've had of all time. And I actually think I might have had this one before. Okay. Now that I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking I might have had this one before. But yeah, it's just a really pleasant, really smooth, really easy to swallow.
We all love a good swallow.
Yes, we do.
Number 4, I did the Starcut Ciders Mosa, and I agree. It just tastes like a mimosa, or a beer mosa, both of which I like. But yeah, I agree, it does just taste like a mimosa, so it can't be as high as the rest of these are.
So number 3, I went with the Blake Strawberry Lemonade. I love sweeter drinks. My tolerance for sweeter drinks has kind of gone down as I've gotten a little bit older, but I think this one for me is just sweet enough. And like I said, though, I would probably only have like one of these at a time. I think it's refreshing, but I think if I had more, I'd probably end up with a headache. But I could just see it as kind of a perfect like summer drink.
So number 3, I have the Vandermill Totally Roasted Cider. I was really pleasantly surprised by this cider. I wasn't really sure what to expect because it has like pecan and vanilla and cinnamon in it, and that's not normally what you get with a hard cider. But the flavors worked really well together, and it was a really subtle flavor. Really nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2, I went with the Sierra Rose Blackberry. This one was maybe one of the ones where I didn't really expect much from. I'm not necessarily a huge blackberry flavor fan, but it tastes like wine, but in the best way. I'm not a huge wine fan necessarily, but it was very pleasant. It was very smooth. I don't know if it necessarily tasted like cider that much, but opposed to the mimosa one, I just really enjoyed the flavor, so that's probably why I ranked it so high.
We finally have a match. I also put Sierra Rose Blackberry as number 2. I love blackberry as a flavor. It's one of my favorite fruit flavors because it's not sweet. It's pretty tart. And this, well, I agree, it definitely tasted more like a wine than it did a cider. The flavors were so nice. The flavor pairing was excellent. I really liked it, and it was really nice to drink.
Yeah, so number 1 was the Vandermill Totally Roasted. Like, I agree with you. I was not expecting, I don't know what I was expecting, but I think in terms of, like, the one that reminded me most of fall, that was it, because it had those hints of like pecan in there. It reminded me of like pecan pie a little bit, and I just think it was a really nice blend of flavors. You could taste hints of vanilla, and I think maybe because I wasn't expecting much, it was the biggest surprise to me, which is I guess why I put it first.
So my number 1 is the Stella European Style Cider, and I don't know what it is, but the flavor is so nice. And I agree when you said that it is a pretty standard cider flavor. It's just apple, but it tastes so good. And it's not overly sweet. It definitely has a sweetness to it, but it works so well with the rest of the flavor of the cider that I tried the top 3 back to back to back. I tried them all 3 times in a row while we were taking a break. And each time that one ranked number 1 because they were all very, very close. But that one I just think overall had the best flavor and the best taste.
Yeah. I mean, I think if I was, because we didn't pick our favorite ciders for a reason. We didn't want to have just bias.
Right.
I think, because my favorite cider I think is probably the Rainbow Seeker Blake's.
That one is very, very good.
And I'm thinking if I was ranking that, it would probably be tied with number 1 or be number 1. I also do really like the Octa Rock, which is of the Starcut Ciders, which we did, Mimosa.
Right. The Octa Rock
is one of my favorites. I also really like Rainbow Seeker. And on top of that, the Ace Pink Guava I just had for the first time this year. I don't know if it's a new one or if it's just the first time I had it, but that one was amazing. I was blown away by it. And the Ace Pineapple Cider is also really good too. So I don't want you to feel discouraged that we both put the Ace Cider pretty low, the one that we tried. It just is one of the ones we haven't had before.
And I wonder too is if because those other ones set such a high bar for
Right.
us that I think we're comparing it to that.
think
I mean, I
so.
felt like with Blake's too, at times I was comparing it to Rainbow Seeker because
Yeah.
I know how much I enjoy that one.
Yeah.
But let's just all run through really quick. Number 9, I went with Angry Orchard Crisp Apple. 8, Blake's El Chavo. 7, Sierra Rose Peach. 6 was the Ace Joker Dry Craft. 5, Starcut Ciders Mosa. 4, Stella Artois Cider. 3, Blake's Strawberry Lemonade. 2, Sierra Rose Blackberry. And 1, the Vandermill Totally Roasted.
For my ranking, I have number 9 as Blake's Strawberry Lemonade, 8 Ace Dry Craft Cider, 7 Angry Orchard Crisp Apple, 6 Sierra Rose Peach, 5 Blake's El Chavo, 4 Starcut Ciders Mosa Hard Cider, 3 Vandermill Totally Roasted, 2 Sierra Rose Blackberry, and 1 Stella European Style Cider.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
I actually enjoyed getting back into food and drink rankings.
Too. It's been a hot minute, you know?
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since we've recorded a little tipsy. I don't think we went as crazy as some of our previous ones,
No.
you know.
I like it because, like, to be honest, it doesn't require a lot of prep work.
Right.
And, yeah, we do have to spend some money on it, which is fine.
We're going to drink the cider anyway,
Right,
so
but
just stock up.
it's also nice, too, because I get to find new foods and drinks I necessarily wouldn't try.
Right.
You know, I probably wouldn't have bought the
Totally roasted.
the Totally Roasted, but now
Right.
I, like, have a drink that I would enjoy.
Right.
So, yeah. Plus, it's getting into fall. I'm getting excited about fall.
Me too.
So, yeah.
Some of our episodes, while though fun, definitely require a lot of prep work, like weeks in advance of prep work.
Pixar
was months.
was months.
We spent from like July until October, November,
Yeah.
and it was months of just watching all those movies. To be fair, though, that was 22 movies.
Yeah. That was a
And
lot.
if we were ever going to do that again, which we do eventually have a plan to do another movie group that's about the same number, about 22 to 23 movies, it requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
A lot of effort and a lot of time to arrange and organize. And doing something like this is nice because you just gotta buy it and rank it on the fly.
Yeah. Use those whiteboards.
Use those whiteboards, use those brains. My eyes are getting a little irritated.
Yeah, I can see you got those hazy eye going on.
Oh, it's just the contacts are in. At a certain point, the contacts, I do daily contacts and they start to stick, especially when I've been drinking and then I blink a lot and it's like, ooh, I feel it.
Yes.
It feels like there's a hard surface on my eye. Rock hard, like the cider. And my penis.
I was gonna say just like a dick.
Yeah, that's my secret. I'm always hard.
Stay hard.
Yeah, if you want to follow us on social media, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we have an email. Research, Rank, Repeat, or 3podcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, thank you for listening. If you have any favorite hard ciders you would like to tell us about, we would love to try them.
Send your sweet ones to Hannah because she's super sweet and I'm not sweet. So send me your bitchy dry ciders and I'll take them.
She'll take them down.
Yep, I'll suck them down, suck them dry.
One swallow, Alyssa. Okay.
Okay. Excellent.
Right.
love
Well, on
that
that note, I think we should end.
I think so. Bye.
Bye. We would like to thank Joseph McDade for our intro music. He provides free music available for all kinds of creative use. The song that we used is called Sunrise Expedition, and you can find it and his other music on his website, josephmcdade.com. If you would like to reach us, you can email us at r3podcasts@gmail.com. That's R, the number 3, podcasts@gmail.com. Or you can find us on Instagram by searching Research Rank Repeat.